Thank you for joining me in creating the Kingdom of Erart. I'm SpunkieMunkie. Sorry about the lack of episodes, guys. I've been ill past couple weeks and it's been a little tough to get through it, but doing better now. So let me show you some of the things I've gotten done here. We have a roof over it, and I did solidify this roof so that mobs don't burn up inside the stadium, like zombies and skeletons. The other thing I did is I'm kind of following the rule of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. But basically, I'm going to round out the stadium so I can just use radius for detection purposes. And we'll be getting into some of that. But the first thing I need to do, because of the detection purposes, is, okay, now that I have our center point marked out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put command block right here, and I'm going to just do a simple, this isn't going to last for long, this is just so I can set up the stadium a little better here, and we're going to have that as a repeat, and it needs redstone for now. And what we're doing is we are testing for any entities and the coordinates. And now that I have the coordinates in, I want to test it at a radius of 9. And I want the type to equal a player. Okay, and the reason why I'm going for 9 on the radius is because right here, I'm kind of doing a little buffer, but here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in this wall itself will be 9. Okay, so that'll be my 9th block right there. So anything above here won't get detected. And the reason why I'm doing this is, I'll explain that in a little bit, but I have to do a barrier basically. Okay, so what I want it to do is just do a simple title at P, and I want it to title, and I want it to say detected. There we go. Okay, see how it's flashing detected, but then when I'm away, the detected stops flashing. It's not detecting me here, but right here it is. So what I'm going to use this little skill for is I'm going to use these barrier blocks. And I'm going to use something else here. Let's just go ahead and use bone blocks. No, let's not use bone blocks. Let's use something funky. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, until it's no longer detecting me, and then I'll go ahead and put a barrier block. And I'm going to go ahead and fill the whole stadium this way, and I'm going to have to do these too. See how it's detecting me on these? Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a barrier block. Okay, it's a little difficult here because of the okay, I think what I'm going to have to do before I continue on is place these in here and make them solid blocks. Okay, now right here it's not detecting me, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a barrier block on there. Right here it's not detecting me, barrier block. No detection, barrier block. Okay, now it is detecting me. So I'm going to put a brick there and then a barrier block. And it's not detecting me here, so I'll put a barrier block there. And just go ahead and do this. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want players on the outside to be detected. only the players on the inside. So it's not detecting me here, and it's not detecting me here. So whenever I'm on top of these barrier blocks, it's not detecting me. So any other players on here are not going to get counted. So I'm going to go ahead and basically I just fill in this whole stadium this way. Go ahead and do this outer border first, just for sake of ease. Okay, it's not detecting me, so I just put a barrier block. Here it is detecting me. I'm not sure why it's doing this. It just has something to do with the radius of it. It gets kind of a funky area, but yeah, you can see it's up and down, and it's kind of weird on the radius, but I'll bring you back after I got this done and show you how the radius is detecting us. Okay guys, well here's the basic radius of where it's detecting. Basically what I'm getting down to is I'm going to be using a command block similar to this one, where it detects player or mob, and that'll determine who wins the match. And I can have as many mobs inside of this as I want. So when you kill all the mobs, it'll detect that, and you will have won. And if the mobs kill you, it will detect that, and the mobs will have won. I'll do the last of these, but this is what I talk about with the radius. I went with a radius of 9 instead of 8, because with 8 on the inside of the stadium, on some of the corners and stuff, it would not detect you and stop the match early, even though the mob wasn't gone or the player wasn't dead. It would stop the match early. So I'm going to do these last ones with you. You can see it kind of overlaps here over on this side, so I'm going to just put solid walls there instead of these barrier blocks. But it doesn't do it as much on this side. So what's up with the radius? I'm not sure. I mean, it's a perfectly round stadium, so why it's detecting like this, I don't know. But you'll see that no matter where I go on here, it does not detect me. Whereas if I go in here, see, I'm detected up to a certain point, and then I stop being detected. Now, one of the things that I have to do also, I had to take into consideration is corners. For example, like this right here, you wouldn't think it would detect me there, and it doesn't. But if I go right into the corner, it does. So I want to make sure to prevent any of that, any outside forces from detecting me. What I'll do is I'll go through and clear out these bricks after getting all the barriers in. But which is why I wanted to explain to you and do these last ones with you. So I'm doing these bricks until I'm detected, and then I'm putting a barrier block. Okay, so that takes care of the outside forces. Let's see if I can get detected. See, I do get detected here, so I need a few more blocks here. See, now I'm no longer detected. It's kind of strange, but it'll make the coding a lot easier. But the other issue is now, because I am doing this to where I'm putting bricks up until I'm no longer detected, so nothing is going to be detected at this height. So, but the problem with that is then on the inside, if there's like a spider, which is only 1 block high, and it's in this block area here, it won't be detected, and again, it'll stop it earlier than I want it to. So what I'm going to do is when I remove these bricks, when I remove this last brick, I will replace it with a barrier block. So it'll be basically 2 levels of barrier blocks. That way everything inside the stadium will always be detected, and everything outside of the stadium will not always be detected. It is a little bit of forethought to this, and it'll make the command blocks of the stadium much easier. But yeah, I'm not sure why the radius is doing what it's doing. I mean, you can see I'm detecting from the center, but yet it's off-centered. So I'm not sure why. Like I said, on this side, you can see here I got straight blocks. There's no barrier blocks there. See here, no detection whatsoever. Let's see if I can get anything in this corner. Nope. So nothing in this corner. But then on this side, over here, I had to actually go past that. So kind of strange with the radius. I'm not too sure why, but I'm working with what Minecraft's given me here. But I wanted to explain to you why I'm having to do this, and it'll, like I said, make the command blocks easier. There's a lot of prep work to it, and obviously without the barrier blocks, you won't see this barrier at all. See, I'm running around on it. So if you guys are, as a player, you can actually stand up here and watch the match as another player, but you won't be detected, and that's the whole purpose of this, is to make sure that it doesn't. See, like, why is that off center? It's really weird how it's doing the radius. You can see by the bricks alone how weird it is. But so I'm going to get back to you, but I just wanted to, chime in on and show you, kind of explain to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. See, nothing detecting me here. But see, if I take this, well, it's not detecting me there. Okay, so I guess I don't need that. Yep, there, see, it's detecting me here, so I'll have to put another block here. And it's no longer detecting me. So I'll have to look around for little areas like that. And like I said, I'm going to get rid of these barrier blocks on the outside and just fill them in with regular solid blocks. But yeah, so now that that's done, basically what I'm going to do is I created myself a little doorway here, and I can just go ahead and bust these out. And that's why I used brick. And then see, I get to that last one, I'm going to go ahead and put a barrier block there for the inside. Because like I said, spiders, and what else would be one block that would be up there? Phantoms. That would be another good one. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm even going to use spiders or phantoms, but if I do want to use them, I am ready and set for them. So let me go ahead and clear out the rest of these bricks and get these last barrier blocks in, and we'll do a little bit of testing, and then we'll get into the code, the command blocks of it. So I'll bring it back in a bit. Last brick, place with the barrier block, and anything above the walls I'm going to go ahead and put in a barrier block on also, so that something's not up on the wall where you guys can't get it. So these will all be barriers right here. Okay, and last but not least, right there. Okay. So there is our dome. So now I know that anything inside the stadium, even if it's only one block high and all the way up here, it will still be detected. And anything outside the stadium, bam, see how I walked outside the stadium, detected, stopped, and anything outside here will not be detected. And I'm pretty confident that that will be the case. Hopefully I haven't missed any spots here, but I don't seem to. So what I'm going to do now is on, let's see, on some of these, see, then you can turn it off, and then you'll be able to still see the match going on. Let's see. So on some of these on the outside, I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, let's go ahead and gather that. And yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we got a barrier here, so let's get rid of that. Okay, and these are all barriers in here. And there's no barriers in here, but there's no purpose in having that there. So we'll just go ahead and knock that off. Okay, there are barriers in here. Okay, so let's double check and make sure. See, I am getting detected here, so I'll have to put barriers here. What about right here? Not getting detected there. Not getting detected there. Okay. Yep, it is detecting me. Oops. There. So I'll have to put that there. So yeah, I'm just basically cleaning this up, and let me go ahead and finish this up, and I'll get back with you. Alright guys, so there's my barrier. So like I said, I'm pretty confident now anything inside here will be detected, whether it's up on the bottom, on top or not. If it's one block creature and up on the top, it'll still be detected properly. And this is right here is the reason why I had to go 9, because on 8 some of these would stop me being detected and would end the match early. You gotta end the match by killing all the mobs. Well, if the mob went out without it being dead, it would end it early. So that's why I had to go 9 instead of 8 on the radius. And as soon as I step out here, it stops detecting me. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So now I don't need these command blocks anymore, but I'm going to go ahead and copy that command block, which is the test for player. And it's got the coordinates and the radius and everything, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and now I can go ahead and delete those because I don't need them anymore. That was just to do that barrier is all that's for, but that's also going to be the basic plan of my layout here. Okay, so let's see, along this wall I can go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to go ahead and use gold blocks for my redstone. Okay, so this is testing for me, the player, which is exactly what I want. I just want it to test for the player, and I don't want it always active. I need redstone. Okay, so while that detection is going on, I will have a comparator here, and this comparator will lead into another comparator like that, and then I will put another repeating here, and instead of test for player, it's test for mob. And the only thing I got to do on this is test it for not a player. So now when there's more than one mob, let's go ahead, and it is already active, so let's go ahead and throw some mobs in here. Let me do some spiders for testing purposes. They can walk around. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this as always active. And I just wanted to show you here. So now I'm going to come in here and see it did find me. And then wrong one. And then I'm going to go ahead and spawn some spiders. Now it did find, I have 4 spiders, and as you see on the side there that it did find the 4 spiders. But as soon as I left, it stopped detecting me, but it's still detecting the spiders. And you can see here, there's 4 spiders, and there's 4 redstone lit. Now I'm going to go ahead and kill a spider, and I'll show you what happens. As you can see, the spiders are crawling all over the place, and that's exactly what I was talking about, where if they're climbing up there, it would stop detecting them. So let's go ahead and kill one of these off. And now there should be only 3 redstone lit. No, that one's lit. Okay, it's also finding an experience orb. That's why. Alright, yeah, there it is. There we go. I forgot to collect my experience, guys. Shame on me. That's the whole purpose of the stadium, is so you guys have a place to collect experience and earn emeralds, which we'll get to in a little bit. Okay, so now it's off. So it's only reading the 3 entities. Okay, but I don't actually need it to read that many, because what I'm shooting for here is there's got to be no more entities in order for you guys to win. No more mobs. So all I really need is 1 redstone. And I'm going to go ahead and throw another comparator right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a block and a redstone torch, which is now off. And I'll show you why of that in a minute. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then a block. And then that. Which I'm not in there, that's why the block is on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put here, I'm just going to go title, just for testing purposes, mob 1. Nope, I'm sorry, this is player 1. And then right here, I'm going to do the title mob 1. I'll go ahead and enter the stadium here. Now you can see off to the side it found me separately, and then it found the 3 spiders. So in order for me to win, I have to kill off these spiders. Pick up the drops. Okay. Perfect. And now there's only 1 spider left and me. And voila, player 1. That worked out really well. Okay, now what I need to do, now the other thing I can do is, instead of killing myself, I'm just going to go ahead and spawn a spider. And you can see it found it, and it's finding me separately. Now I'm just going to leave the stadium like I'm dead. Bam, mob 1. Okay, now it's saying that, and it's still finding the spider. So there's a few things I have to do after the mob wins or the player wins, but that is how I determine if the player won or if the mob won. So it's a very, very simple detection system. Of course, I left, so why is it showing me mob 1? It's because I didn't do the other stuff. There's other things I need to do in order to cure all that. But that's just the very basic detection system to tell me on who won and who didn't win. And by doing it this way, I can have as many mobs in that stadium as I want, and it will only detect the player winning or the mob winning when all the mobs are, it'll only detect the player winning when all the mobs are dead. Doesn't, even if there's 1 mob left, it'll still activate this and work properly. So there's other things I need to do. For one thing, I need to turn these off as always active, because I don't want them always active. I need redstone, and then what I'll do as part of the startup is I will put redstone blocks here until this match is over, and then it will remove them at the end of this after it determines who wins. And I'll explain that a little bit, but let me go ahead and get some other things taken care of, and I'll bring you back to get a little clarity on this. Okay, I got a little bit done here. This is going to be where the mobs are summoned. There's 15 different rankings, so you'll have 15 different matches. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm kind of working backwards here, or back and forward at the same time. here's what I've got here. I kind of extended the platform here. I'm kind of liking how it's looking random. I'll have to raise up the king. He doesn't have much of a view of the stadium right now. So I figure, let's see if I can get him up here. He gets a little better view of it. So I'll take care of that in a little bit, but I want to get the coding done. So what I've got is, here's the starting area. If you recall, this is the way here to the outside. And I'll do something a little bit to distinguish this so you know where to come. Here, all our mobs are over here for now. But yeah, I'll get all that cleaned up later. Like I said, I want to get the coding done here. So you come on in here and you come down through here. And I'll get this more cleaned up. But I kind of like the randomness. I'm going to put some armor stands around here with some armor and a bed, obviously, so you can set your spawn point. And right here is where we're going to start the match. Okay, so you'll stand on this block and press this button, which does nothing right now, but I'm going to have it teleport you here. And this button actually won't be here. There's another area back here to end the match, and we'll get to that in a little bit. That's if the player wins and that he's stuck inside the stadium. This will be closed off here. So basically, the first thing I'm going to do when you go to start the match is you teleport. So we'll start that off right here. And we'll just call it TP player. And it's just a simple teleport command. And I'm going to do those coordinates where that block is. And of course the radius will be 1 to stand on that block. And I want to teleport you to where you're going to start the match inside the stadium. Okay, but because you're facing the wrong way, I'm going to have to change your facing. I'm going to change your facing to where the mobs will be starting. Okay, so that'll be the facing. So let's go ahead and test this out and make sure it's going to teleport us to the correct spot. So we'll stand here, press the button, and voila. We're inside the stadium, and the mobs will appear over there at that end, and we get to start. So the other thing we need to do while we're over here is, let me show you what I got going here. Okay, down here we have the clocks. So I need to set up a redstone block right here to start this clock, and a redstone block right here to start this clock. But before we do that, I need to set up a redstone block right here to summon the proper mobs. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so after you're teleported, we want it to summon the mobs. So in order to do that, I did the wrong one here. Let me get rid of this so I don't do that again. There we go. Now let's do a blank block here. There we go. And this one we want is a chain, conditional, and always active. And this will be a summon mob. And the summon mobs will be just a simple set block. Okay, and we just want a redstone block to be summoned there. So let's go ahead and test that. Bam, I'm teleported here, and I can't. I have a hole in here somewhere. Where'd it go? There it is. And there we go. So it'll go through this and activate all this, and you can see there's 15. It goes all the way down to the end. That one is not right. Okay. I just want a 1 tick delay on all these. Okay, make sure that that's correct. Okay, so that is correct. So then the other thing we need to do is start the detectors. So that redstone block will summon whatever particular mob depending upon which you're in, and I'll be using the scoreboard for that. So here we just need to start the detector. We'll call it okay, detector 1, and that'll be chain, conditional, and always active, and again, that'll just be a simple set block. There we go, and now it found me. And now it should detect when I leave, because I can't fly out of here because of the barrier blocks. So when I leave, it should say mob 1. And there we go. Which we don't have anything yet, anything happening when the mob or the player wins. We'll get to that just in a little bit here. I just want to make sure these blocks all showing up right, and there they are. So this, at the end of this chain here, I will have it remove that redstone block, and that's how that one gets removed. And depending upon when the mob or the player wins, that's when these blocks get removed. So, okay, so when the mob wins, we need to stop the clocks. So that's where we change these to air. And we'll have that as a chain, conditional, always active. Stop detector 1, and that'll be just a set block, and we just want to set it to air. And then this one, and we want to set that to air. Okay, so that should remove these redstone blocks from the clocks and stop the clocks from sensing us. And then the other thing we need to do, now this is if the mob wins, which means you have died and probably spawned down in here where the bed was. Okay, so that means the mobs are still going to be running around in here, so we need to kill all entities inside the stadium after the mob wins to get ready to start the next match, because we don't want mobs left over from the previous match. So we'll go ahead and put one more command block here, and we'll go kill mobs. And this will be a chain, conditional, always active, and we just want to kill all entities inside the stadium, and we'll do that by marking the center point. Okay, so that should work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm using spiders, obviously for testing the barrier blocks, make sure that they're not sensing poorly. But we'll go ahead and go in the stadium. The other reason why is because they can't get through a one block area, so they're going to be stuck in here. So let's go ahead and spawn a couple spiders, and then we'll come over here and we'll start the match. Okay, now it found me and found the spiders, and now I will leave mob 1, and perfect, they're all dead. Left a string. Okay, I might have to do that twice. Always active, there's the problem. Okay, let's try it one more time, guys. Lots of errors going on here in today's episode, but we'll get it. We'll get it. Trial and error, right? Trial and error. Alright, let's pick all this junk up. They killed me. And there we go. Looked like everything worked right that time, so let's try check it out here. Get rid of that. Okay, yeah, everything worked out fine. Perfect, we'll go ahead and do one more test just to make sure. But I think that'll take care of the drops. It should take care of the drops. Okay, so the spiders kill me. They die, and the drops are gone. Perfect. Mob 1. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, I'll get rid of that. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just set block this so I don't have to keep remembering that. And we'll just do that to error. Still going to be a lot more to that than that, but one step at a time, right guys? So we'll go ahead and do one more test here on this. Go ahead and summon some spiders. And we'll start everything up, and then they kill me. And that redstone block should be gone. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Okay, so now we've got what happens when the mob wins. So now we can do what happens when the player wins. And what we can do, make this easy and get rid of all these. Is this my empty command block? It is. Okay, good. So first thing we need to do is, again, stop the detectors. So we'll just copy these, make it nice and easy. So the player won, and then we stop the connectors or detectors. Okay, and then we need to set a button. Okay, so actually 64. We want it one up from where I was standing. Okay, so now what we'll do is I'll just put this command block here, and we're going to go ahead and set block and type in those coordinates. 64 minus 59. And we want a stone button, and we'll try it at 1 first, because what we need to do is it's facing and that is not it. Okay, actually, shoot, I got my coordinates wrong. 56, 64, we need this at 60. Okay, so let's fix that. And we already know 1 is not correct. Let's try 2. And there it is. So now we can have it put that button there. And then we can start a string of command blocks to do something when that button's pressed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and get rid of that, get rid of that. And we want this as a chain, always active, and we want to show button. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that a test. Make sure that's working properly. Okay, I don't have the mob spawning yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and summon a spider in. And then we'll go ahead and start the match. Okay, found me, found the spider. Where'd the spider go? There he is. Kill the spider, player 1, and a button should appear. There it is. Excellent. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So what we want this button to do once the player presses it is we want to teleport the player. And we want to teleport any player in the coordinates of the stadium. Radius of 9, so you can actually be anywhere inside the stadium to do the button. So anywhere to that, and we want to send them to, let me make sure that those coordinates are correct. 144, 63 minus 7, so that'll teleport you back to here. Yep, that's it. Okay, perfect. And then after that, what we want to do is we'll pop that in there, and we'll make this a chain. We'll leave it unconditional, always active, and we want to go ahead and remove the button. And we want it set block. And the button's coordinates 156, 64 minus 60 to air. And that's the end of that. So we can go ahead and put this back. Get rid of that button. Yeah, we can go ahead and put the spider in, and we'll go ahead and start the match. Okay, and then I kill the spider. And there's the button there, so this should teleport me right back to here. Perfect, and the button should be gone. Excellent, that's what we want. Perfect. So now we've got what happens when the mobs win and what happens when the players win. Okay, so now we've got what happens when the mob wins, and we got what happens when the player wins, and they both work. Let's go ahead and just do one more final test, just to make sure. Well, two tests, actually. So let's go ahead and spawn a spider in. And when the mob wins, mob 1, drops are gone. Perfect. And then the spider. Player 1. And there's my button to get out. And voila. Perfect. And the button should be gone. Excellent. Alright, we got it, guys. So we can go ahead and close that off. And we can go ahead and close that off. So now all that's left is to summon the mobs. So the way we're going to do this is using the scoreboard. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put some command blocks here. 2, 3, 4. And we'll go ahead and put buttons on them. Okay, so in this first one, what we're going to do is we're going to start Glad level. And it's going to be, let me go ahead and, here we go. Scoreboard, objectives, add, Gladiator level, and we're going to make it a dummy. And we'll call it Gladiator level. Yeah, we'll do it like that. See what happens. Okay, and then on this one, we're going to show the scoreboard. Objectives, set display. We want it on the sidebar, and we want Glad level to show. And then on this one we want to set Glad level to 0. And we go scoreboard players set. I'm just going to do it for me, Glad level 0, And this one we'll have to actually duplicate in the, as a matter of fact, let's do that right now. Let's see, we'll open up Notepad. I'll bring this over here so you guys can see it, and we'll go back to the spawn scoreboard player set. So we'll go ahead and copy that, paste it into there, and then what we want is glad level to 0. So that will now get set when you spawn in. And it's not going to work right now. Let's go ahead and reload. Here we go. Okay. And on this one, we want to add, for testing purposes, we want to add 1 to glad level. And again, that's scoreboard, players, add, just go me, glad level 1. Okay, now this one only actually needs to be done once to add the glad level scoreboard variable. Let's see, there should be a way to scoreboard objectives list. And so we've got emeralds, multiplayer, vault number. Okay, why didn't it do glad level? Okay, this has got to be, that's why it didn't work, because this has got to be one word. Let's try that. Okay, that time it started it added it successfully. So let's go ahead and just double check the list. So now we should have glad level. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so now we've got the glad level, so we actually don't need that anymore. So let's go ahead and show the scoreboard. There's our glad level, and we'll go ahead and set it to 0. And this is what happens at spawn, so that's perfect. And so right now it's at 0, so we are not in any gladiator thing. So what we need to do, actually, I'm thinking about it. We need let's go ahead and copy that. And I think what I'll have to do, I actually didn't get this far into the in the testing world, but I think we'll have to start the match there. So I think let's do it down here. And we'll put a button, and we will put a sign. I'll just go with an oak sign right now. I might change that, but for now, we'll work with that. Okay, get some light in here so we don't have spawnage. So what we need to do is, first we need to test. Hang on. Okay, instead of testing, I think what we're going to do is reset it. So yeah, we will reset glad level. So no matter what level you are at, it'll automatically reset it. So we'll go scoreboard, players, reset at, we're going to need those coordinates. So we're going to reset any player that is at these coordinates at a radius of 1. And the objective is glad level. Okay, so we reset that, and then we add 1 to the glad level, which restarts it. Okay, so the only thing we need to do on this one to change it is put those coordinates back in. Okay, so any player standing on that spot, we'll get that to 1. We need it to be chain and always active. And I'm going to go ahead on the safe side and make that conditional. So there we go. Okay, so right now my gladiator level is 0. So if I stand here, it is now 1. Okay, let's do a little test here, just to make sure that the reset is working right. Because I do have a command block down here that'll add 1. So we are at glad level 1, now we're at 2, now we're at 3. So now it should reset it back to 1. Okay, perfect. So when you walk up to it or initially, it'll be, let's go ahead and close that back up. Perfect. Okay. So now you can start the gladiator missions, and if you get all the way to the end or in the middle and you want to restart it, all you gotta do is stand up here, press this button, and it'll restart it back at 1. Now the reason for that is because now we're going to be summoning the mobs. So what we do on this, let's get rid of some of this stuff here. Okay, so on this, we need to, let me go ahead and copy that because we'll need that at the end of every string. So right here, we will start off a test scoreboard players test at P at a radius of 9. Okay, so now it'll test the closest player inside the stadium to see if that glad level is at 9, or is at 1, I mean. And if it is, then we can summon a mob. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll stick with a spider for now. We'll summon a spider, and the spider starting pulse spat. So it'll summon a spider inside the arena, and that will be chain conditional, and that we have to have conditional because we started off with a test first. So we're testing it, and that if it's 1, then it'll summon this mob, and then we'll go ahead and put this back in, which ends the summon. And we want it chain. We'll go ahead and actually leave it unconditional, always active, so it'll always remove that redstone block. Okay, so that should set up our stadium for us. Okay, so right now we're at gladiator level 1, which is what we want. So we would come over here and bam, and there we go. There's our spider, and the clocks are working fine. It found me and the spider, and we'll kill off the spider. Player 1. Excellent. So then we come back over here, bam, Okay, so now there's one problem, and we can see it's at 1. So what we need to do, we still have a Gladiator level 1. I just beat Gladiator level 1, so now we need it to increment to Gladiator level 2. So I can just copy this. Add 1 to Gladiator. Right. Okay, so that's chain, conditional, always active, and then we would just need the coordinates again for any player inside the stadium. Radius of 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out one more time here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start the match. And there we go. Found the spider, found me. I will kill the spider. There it is. Gladiator level is now 2. And then you come over here, press the button, and you're ready for your second match. And then it's perfect. And then we can do the same test. Excuse me. We can do the same test and summon however many mobs we want for the level 2 and end with this one. So I can have as many mobs as I want. I can bust out some more wall here. And you know, by the time you get to the 15th level, obviously it'll be kind of long. I'm not sure what kind of monsters I'm going to summon yet, and that's what you're going to have to find out for yourself. But I think we are pretty much done here, guys. So I know hopefully this wasn't too confusing to you, but I think it's probably the simplest way we can come up with. I mean, you know, it's a simple detection of the stadium to see if the mob or the player wins. It's a simple setup on how to summon the mobs to whatever mobs is to what level you have gone to, however many matches you have won. You get different mobs every time. And I'll have to finish that up, do that off camera, because you won't know what that's going to look like. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope you have a great time, and thank you for joining me in creating the Kingdom of Erart, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.